Just imagine walking into the bathroom to wash your face, only to discover that your reflection is missing. You're not in the mirror. Your body has completely vanished. That's exactly what happened to Michael. Michael was an ordinary boy living in Italy. One day, while sitting in class behind a girl named Stella, a police inspector, who also happened to be Michael's mother, entered the classroom. She was there to investigate the sudden disappearance of one of Michael's classmates who had run away from home. Just as she left, Michael's nose began to bleed. Alarmed, he ran to the bathroom, where a group of mischievous boys started teasing him. Later that evening, Michael decided to buy a costume for a party using the small amount of money he had saved. Unfortunately, he could only afford a cheap Chinese superhero costume, which he didn't particularly like, but he bought it anyway. Back at home, his mother reassured him that he looked great and encouraged him to attend the party. At the party, Michael was enjoying himself. He even got to talk to Stella, the girl he secretly liked. But soon enough, those same troublemakers from school started picking on him again. Trying to escape, Michael hid in the bathroom. Frustrated and overwhelmed, he shouted, "I wish I could become invisible." Suddenly, the lights went out. Taking advantage of the darkness, he escaped through the window and ran home. The next morning, Michael woke up to the sound of his dog barking. As he went to brush his teeth, he looked in the mirror and saw only his clothes. His body was completely gone. In shock, he stripped off his clothes. Just then, his mother walked in. But when she couldn't see him, Michael realized the unbelievable. He had actually become invisible. He quickly scribbled a note saying he was off to school and left it for his mother to find. Then, wrapping himself in clothes, he made his way to school. On the way, a mischievous thought struck him. Why not use his new powers to teach those bullies a lesson? At school, he took off all his clothes and walked in completely invisible. During class, he used a paintball gun to fire at the teacher, making it appear that one of the bullies was responsible. The confused and frightened teacher suspended the student. Michael laughed quietly to himself. But then things took a darker turn. He sneaked into the girls' changing room to spy on them while they changed clothes. This was a clear misuse of his power. Suddenly, a girl accidentally threw her towel at him, which clung to his invisible body. And just like that, his invisibility began to wear off. The girls screamed in horror upon seeing a naked boy materialize in their changing room and ran off in panic. The next day, while Michael was in class, another student was reported missing. Suddenly, his hands began fading into invisibility. As soon as the bell rang, he fled. Wrapping himself fully in clothes again, he returned home. His little sister, Canla, was in his room. Facing the wall, he asked her to leave. But Canla pretended to leave and stayed behind to spy on him. Thinking she was gone, Michael removed his scarf. Canla saw him and screamed. Michael calmed her down and explained everything, that somehow his Chinese superhero costume had given him the power of invisibility. Later, while still invisible, Michael overheard his mother talking on the phone. She revealed something shocking. Michael was adopted. Years ago, he had been left on their doorstep by a stranger. Michael was devastated. He had never known this and ran out of the house in anguish. He sat alone on a swing, lost in thought. Just then, Stella arrived. She felt a strange presence, but instead of running away, she calmly sat on the swing next to him. She even asked the ghost to be her friend. In response, Michael drew a smiley face in the sand, a symbol of their unusual connection. They played together for a while before she left. Michael noticed a man staring at him from a distance, but soon realized the man was blind. That night, Michael went to Stella's house. She was overjoyed to have an invisible friend. At one point, they even kissed. But suddenly, Michael's powers started to fade again. Before she could see his face, he ran away. Soon after, while practicing gymnastics alone, Stella was attacked. Someone bit her and she collapsed unconscious. Back at home, Michael decided it was time to tell Stella everything. As he walked his dog near the gymnastics hall, he saw a masked man carrying Stella. Michael tried to stop him, and his dog bit the man's hand. A while later, the police arrived and realized something shocking. The children hadn't run away. They had been kidnapped. Stella woke up in an abandoned room, wires attached to her head. Michael's teacher was also there. They conducted experiments on her and later locked her up with other missing children. The next day, Michael sat by the sea when the blind man from before approached. He seemed to know everything, Michael's name, his past, even his thoughts. The man introduced himself as Andres and claimed to be Michael's real father. Michael refused to believe him, yelling that he was lying. But Andres calmly explained everything. He was once a regular boy in a Russian village. One day, a nuclear radiation leak killed most villagers. The survivors developed superhuman powers. The military discovered this and began using them as weapons. Andres and Michael's mother were among those experimented on. According to reports, they were the only couple able to have children. When Michael was born with special powers, Andres and his wife escaped the military base to protect him. His wife died, but Andres survived. Knowing Michael would never be safe with him, he used his powers to read Joanna's, Michael's adoptive mother, mind. Realizing she was a good woman, he left the baby at her doorstep. Now the military had tracked Michael to their town. Though Michael was skeptical, Andres gave him a suit that would vanish along with his body. He then wiped a local fisherman's memory and disappeared. Meanwhile, Michael's teacher visited his home. Joanna revealed she had adopted Michael, which made the teacher suspicious. Michael could be the special boy the military was hunting. When the teacher arrived, Michael noticed a dog bite on his hand. That confirmed it. He was Stella's kidnapper. Michael vanished and escaped. On the run, he met Ivan, one of the bullies he had once tormented. He jumped onto Ivan's bike and convinced him of the truth. At the same time, Stella figured out how to escape. She told the other kids to stack themselves one on top of the other to reach the ceiling vent. They climbed out and found a searchlight on the rooftop. Stella used it to draw a smiley face, the same symbol Michael had once drawn. Seeing the signal, Michael understood where she was. With Ivan, he rushed to save them. As Stella tried to flee, she was caught by a guard. Ivan used his paintball gun to hit the electric circuit, disrupting security. Invisible once more, Michael sneaked into the building. He saw his teacher and some henchmen watching Andres and Joanna. Clearly, they were working together to capture Michael. Michael attacked the guards, locking them up and freeing all the kidnapped children. Everyone was shocked to finally see Michael and his powers. They all began to flee. Stella, however, insisted they rescue the old man trapped in the nearby room. Michael agreed, but it turned out to be a trap. She had been mind-controlled. Behind her, an old man appeared. He was the true villain, capable of taking control of people's minds. He had been manipulating Stella and Michael's teacher all along. The military captured Michael and Stella and locked them in a submarine. Meanwhile, Andres, Joanna, and Ivan infiltrated the base, rescued the children and the teacher, who, it turned out, had been a helpless puppet all along. Seconds before the facility exploded, they all escaped. Inside the submarine, Michael discovered another power, telekinesis. He could now move objects with his mind. Using this, he defeated the henchmen, saved Stella, and steered the submarine safely back to shore. Everyone was waiting to greet him. Overjoyed, Michael showed off his powers, vanishing before their eyes. But Andres reminded him that his powers must remain a secret. To protect his identity, Andres had to wipe the memories of everyone present. Michael understood. He shared a final kiss with Stella before Andres erased everyone's memory and vanished once more. Everything returned to normal. But Michael would never forget who he truly was, or the powers he possessed.